Hello, it's Tuesday, April the 12th. We're in Revelation 20, a passage that divides Christendom because of the reference to the millennium. And what does the millennium mean? Is it a literal 1,000 years? And if so, when is that 1,000 years? Is it slightly before Jesus comes, or is it after Jesus comes? If it's before Jesus comes, that would put you in a category of post-millennialism. If it's after Jesus comes, that would put you in a category of premillennialism. But I'm a dyed-in-the-wool amillennialist, and I see the millennium as the whole period of time from the ascension of Jesus and Pentecost right through to the second coming. Well, yesterday in the first 3 verses we saw the binding of Satan. The binding of Satan understood as the gospel now being able to penetrate into the nations of the world, something that we see in our time. And then in verses 4 to 6, another scene, simultaneous, I think, with the first scene. It is subsequent in John's mind because he saw one thing and then he saw another. But the two things are meant, I think, to be understood as taking place simultaneously. And what he sees in verses 4 to 6 is the souls of those who have been beheaded in the presence of the Lord Jesus. And he refers to this as the first resurrection. Remember the context of the book of Revelation in Revelation chapter 6? Those martyrs who have been killed by Emperor Domitian in the early 90s, they are now in heaven, and John sees them and he sees their souls. And the reference here to the first resurrection is the resurrection of the soul into heaven. There will be a second resurrection, the resurrection of the body, the reunification of body and soul at the second coming of the Lord Jesus. Verse 5 is a little tricky. The rest of the dead did not come to life until the 1,000 years were ended. This is the first resurrection. And I take that to mean that the first resurrection is the spiritual resurrection, and the second resurrection is the bodily resurrection. And the second death mentioned here is the day of judgment, and that day of judgment has no power over these that John sees, because they are redeemed, they are saved, they're in the presence of Christ, and nothing can dismember them, nothing can attack them, nothing can destroy the security that they enjoy in the presence of the Lord Jesus. Well, the binding of Satan in verses 1 to 3, the triumph of the martyrs in verses 4 to 6. We'll continue in this chapter tomorrow, but for now, have a wonderful day.